When I was younger, I used to take reviews super seriously, like to the point where if a
We could
person
use
on
some good
YouTube,
old pun humor.
oh, hold on a second, I didn't know about this dialogue.
3.14% of sailors are pirates.
3.14.
I stayed up all night wondering where the sun went. Then it dawned on me.
Oh, I get it.
What did the mermaid wear to her math class?
What?
An algebra.
Terrible.
Why did the scarecrow get a promotion?
Alright.
Because he was outstanding in his field.
That'll do. Put that thing away.
Okay, I'm all joked out.
This is the Last of Us remaster that originally came out on PS4. Game still looks amazing. Anyway, that was the first time I ever heard that dialogue. I played this game like 10 different times, and that was the first time I've ever heard that dialogue. Anyway, when I was younger, and actually, even still, like a few months ago, I used to take critics like super duper seriously. Like their opinion, actually influenced what other people thought. And then recently, I actually came to the realization that a vast majority of people don't really care or even know about most online critics and media. I mean, even someone as famous as a nostalgia critic or a critical drinker, you go out and ask a regular person, "Hey, do you know about these guys?" And they'll be like, "No, I never heard of them." And yeah, when I was way younger, I used to take critics' words as like um,
I can't make that jump.
what's the word I'm
You
trying to
get
look
me up there,
for?
I can move that plank.
I used to take critics' words super seriously, basically, to the point where I wouldn't watch a movie or a piece of media without the critics,
Wait here!
saying so. I know that's a pretty sad perspective. That's not how you should, let others influence what you think and whatnot, right? Because a random person on YouTube, who's especially one that's never even made a show themselves, really, at the end of the day, is just someone giving their opinion. And I really do hate how people say that this critic is just quote unquote objectively right, when really everything that a critic usually says is subjective. Even like just because you agree with someone doesn't make their opinion objective fact. And it's actually really sad that a lot of people actually think that way, because you basically just don't have a basic grasp or understanding of what a word means. Like when you put someone's opinion on such a high pedestal, that's like you're basically just being a total dick writer. And I used to be, a dick writer for certain critics, but nowadays, as I've grown older, I mean, occasionally I'll still make fun of or insult a critic in the comment section. But for the most part, I just don't take critics seriously, especially the ones that make overly long analysis videos. Like, my goodness, uh, critics or video game essayists or movie essayists, whatever you call them, those quote unquote analytical people that do movie length videos of a piece of media, and it's not even really an essay. It's more like a summarization of what goes on for the most part. Like you'll find a video calling The Last of Us, a game that I really do enjoy, like a genius masterpiece. Here's why. And the video is just the person summing up the plot, like summarizing the plot. Like, yeah, anybody who's played the game would already know certain
What's that all?
information.
Get over there.
Like even with positive reviews, I just don't like positive reviews either, because those are also just way too boring. Nowadays, the only time I listen to a critic is that if they're actually just genuinely entertaining to listen to. Steve Reviews, AVGN, Some Call Me Johnny, Spear Hunter, and Thor High Heels. Those are the only critics that I genuinely listen to. Not that I take their words as 100%. What's the word? As gospel or anything like that. But no, those critics I just mentioned, they're just genuinely entertaining to listen to. Like I remember when I was younger and angrier, I would just listen to Mysterious Mr. Enter go on a tangent about how SpongeBob ruined his life or something like that. I took it as gospel. Nowadays, whenever I find a critic that I just don't like or find too preachy, I usually just click on the don't recommend button. Sometimes I'll make an alternate account and just, make fun of them in the comments section if they block me.
Alright. Well, you just need to find a way up.
Because like, to be honest, I'm just not a big fan of preachy people. Like, even when there's an analysis, a quote unquote analysis of someone that I agree with on a particular topic, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this person sounds pretentious.
Oh, this place stinks.
Yeah, wood's all rotten.
Did you go to coffee shops a lot?
I did. All the time.
And what would you get?
Just coffee.
But yeah, overall, I just stopped listening to critics all around, and I just started forming my own opinions, and that's just way better than letting some random person on YouTube influence me. And it turns out a lot of online YouTube critics are a bunch of losers. Like Quentin Reviews, for example, total douche in real life. Apparently, it's actually amazing that he actually had so much influence over how people think. There is also goodness gracious. There was that one person that H Bomber guy exposed, and it turns out that guy was also a plagiarist douche as well. So yeah, a lot of critics, end up just being complete douchebags. I'm glad I never donated money to any YouTube critic, even the ones I like. I'm never giving money to. I'm never giving money to any YouTuber at all because that's just a temporary investment. Like, a lot of YouTubers end up just disappearing or getting exposed for being terrible people or getting into some trouble or just straight up dying. And yeah, that's why I don't really give YouTubers any money because that's just like a temporary investment, man. Like, no, thank you. Plus, YouTube's like a free platform. I'm not gonna pay someone money to make videos. Video making's not a real job. Well, at least that's what YouTube wasn't intended for anyway. Like, I prefer you. I just like the days when YouTube was just a fun platform where people just uploaded whatever they want. Now people are like making movie length videos, pretentious video game essays on why this game is a masterpiece or why this game is a disaster. Another thing I don't like about a lot of critics nowadays are the woke and anti-woke critics. Like now, thankfully, as time goes on, the woke and anti-woke argument is just dying off. Especially with Donald Trump in office nowadays, a lot of anti-woke people are like, holy shit, this president sucks. But really, it's just gotten old. Like, for me, right, I want to do a video why I don't like The Last of Us 2. And, a lot of the discussion around The Last of Us 2 has been ruined by people who don't like the game because they call it woke. Now, me...
Do you think those hunters are gone?
About to find out.
Goodness gracious. Me, when it comes to The Last of Us 2, for example, I think the writing, in my own subjective opinion, the writing is just really bad. But the gameplay and everything else about the game, besides the boring walking segments, are actually really good. It's just the bad writing and bad storytelling that occasionally pop up in that game. However, a lot of The Last of Us 2 haters have actually ruined, the anti-Last of Us 2 crowd because they just use the same reused argument like this game is woke propaganda. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just badly written. It has nothing to do with it being woke or not. But nowadays, we're at a point where nobody even knows what woke even really means anymore. Anyway, I got a little off topic. But basically, I just started forming my own opinions. And if I do listen to a reviewer, it's only because I find them entertaining or fun to listen to. Like, I wanted to get into Critical Drinker, but I just can't because he reuses a lot of the same arguments, just calling everything woke. And, he's not even funny. As flawed as the Nostalgia Critic is, at least the Nostalgia Critic doesn't put his opinions, at least nowadays, on such a high pedestal. At least he's mostly joking. At least with the Nostalgia Critic, he actually, even when they're not funny, he actually puts in the effort to do skits. They're unnecessary to the review. And, a lot of Nostalgia Critic's videos are him actually just narrating the plot. and then just making fun. But I don't know, man. It's just nostalgia critic just comes off to me as a less pretentious douche compared to other online influencers, you know.
It's too high. Let's see what we can find.
And you know what I like about the nostalgia critic is that since he doesn't put his opinion on such a high pedestal, he's actually humble. Like, he's okay with other content creators shitting on his work or making fun of him. I mean, he even says out, he even admitted that, you know, he's perfectly fine with other people making fun of him because he does the exact same thing to, you know, other people's works and media. So I do respect Nostalgia Critic for that, even though I don't really take his opinion on media seriously anymore. Although nowadays I just don't take anybody's opinion on media seriously except for my own. Because at the end of the day, the most important opinion is yours.
Oh, I'll be checking in for one night.
Like, your own individual, you as an individual, your opinion is the one that matters the most, you know? Don't let anybody influence your thoughts. Don't let anybody make you or manipulate you into watching or not watching or not experimenting with a certain piece of media because some random loser on YouTube told you to. Like, there was that one person who made a well, no, it wasn't overly long, like a 20-minute video. A famous YouTuber, forgot his name. Anyway, lots of subscribers, but he made a video bitching about the boys comic. And I didn't let that person's opinion influence my own. I went out, bought the boys comic, and so far, in my opinion, the boys comic, yeah, it's edgy, but it has been pretty interesting.
And I would like your finest suite, please.
What the hell are you doing?
Why, yes, you can take my luggage upstairs.
You are a weird kid.
Oh, man. You know, I'm planning on playing part 2 after this, and the second Last of Us game doesn't have writing nowhere near as good as the first game. Like, a lot of The Last of Us 2 is just really stupid. Like, that part where Ellie tracks down Abby's hideout, and then Ellie's dumbass decides to leave behind a map or something just for Abby to, you know, to find her because of plot convenience and whatnot, is really stupid. That's the thing about The Last of Us 2. It's a fun game, but it has so many stupid moments in it. Like bringing a freaking pregnant woman out into a battlefield war zone. And it's not like there was a shortage of people or anything like that. No, the WLF, the faction that woman was with, there's like hundreds of them, thousands. And she went out into a war zone just to like prove a point or something like that.
I really miss coffee.
Ellie, why do you got your...
Hey, there's a ladder back here.
I already know, Ellie. I played this game before. Why do you got your flashlight on? Anyway, sorry for rambling and whatnot. Trust your own opinion. Don't let others influence you. Don't even let this video influence you. Like, Jesus Christ. You know, just think for yourself. Just because someone says Dark Souls is... Like, for example, someone will make a video calling Dark Souls 2 bad for like an hour. It's still just a subjective opinion at the end of the day. Even though I'm with that crowd of people that think Dark Souls 2 is bad. Because there's also arguments for why the game is good. And those arguments are also subjective. But again though, I still do make fun of or insult critics in the YouTube comments though whenever their video pops up on my feed, because I just don't like preachy people, you know? Like, people who put their subjective opinions on a high pedestal as if their opinion is like some sort of objective fact, you know, it just makes them come off as total douchebags, in my opinion. And like I said earlier, it's really ironic because a lot of YouTubers, especially the ones in the reviewing community, have a lot of skeletons in the closet. Like, so many, like, in my years of YouTube, it's actually a miracle that James Rolfe and Doug Walker haven't... I mean, they've been in their controversies, but it's a miracle they haven't, you know, been in worse controversies. It's a miracle that someone like Rebel Taxi, one of the few cartoon critics out of the hundreds of them on YouTube, hasn't fallen into some sort of controversy, you know? I mean, so many YouTube critics fall into some sort of controversy. I mean, there was that one time with Cosmodore. He was a YouTube cartoon critic, who made reviews talking about 2000s, 90s nostalgic cartoons that we all grew up with. Like, hey, remember that cartoon show that you grew up with as a 90s kid? Here's a video of me summarizing what the show is about, and then occasionally making a joke. And the thing about Cosmodore, he could have made a living off of YouTube just doing that, but oh wait, he had to go and expose himself as a predator. Then it turns out Quentin Reviews, that guy, who's currently well known for reviewing baby Nickelodeon cartoons or live action shows. Oh, there we go again. There was that time where Quentin reviews stalked Lindsay Ellis, the quote unquote nostalgia chick, and then it turns out that the nostalgia critic, the nostalgia chick, she's a total liberal douche. And then there are also right leaning critics who are also conservative douches, like Critical Drinker or whatever, or Synthetic Man, for example. Very scummy people. Um, I think a lot of these people lack real life job experiences, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, personally, for me, I will never make YouTube my job because I don't want to sponsor. First of all, I don't want the stress of having to cater to an audience. Secondly, I'm not a fan of e-begging. And thirdly, YouTube, this platform is well known for screwing over content creators. So what happens a lot with a lot of YouTube reviewers or YouTubers in general is that they'll eventually do a video saying YouTube is screwing me over, I'm getting less views, when really it's not YouTube that's screwing them over. It's just that their audience has just moved on. For example, Yahtzee of the Escapist, or Second Win, he did a video bitching about YouTube, how they're screwing him over for views, when really a lot of people have grown out of the Escapist or Yahtzee's reviews or whatever. I used to watch him too. Thankfully, I never took his opinions on media seriously because I think the guy just has shit taste in general. Like, I know it's subjective, but in my subjective opinion, his taste in media is shit.
I tried to catch some fog earlier. I missed. Do you know what's not right?
Left?
Yeah. That's awesome. What does a pirate say while eating sushi?
I don't know what.
Ahoy! Pass me some soy.
That one was bad.
I don't get it. People are making apocalypse jokes like there's no tomorrow. Too soon. That's it. That's all I got.
See, that's the thing about the first game. Like, The Last of Us 2 doesn't have dialogue as interesting or as fun as the first game. Like, the game is just so dead freaking serious about, oh, my revenge and all that stuff. And you could say that, well, The Last of Us 2 is more of a serious story, but then it has stuff like Ellie and Dina having lesbian sex and smoking weed. Or then it has stuff like the character Owen acting like a total man-child. Like, I can't wait to start recording footage for that game and uploading it, just to show off how bad the writing is in part 2, how inconsistent part 2's writing is. This whole video just turned into like me complaining about The Last of Us 2 while also complaining about YouTube and YouTube critics. But anyway, enough with the schizo rant. Thank you for watching this. A lot of people in real life don't even know these YouTube critics even exist, and I'm really happy for that. Because you gotta think, at most these you gotta think about it. At most, the most popular YouTube critic has what, a million subscribers, 2 million subscribers. That ain't, that's not shit. There's like 300 plus million Americans and 8 billion humans on Earth as of right now. A YouTuber with a million subscribers and, half of them being viewers is nothing compared to the grand scheme of things. I'm just glad that YouTube critics don't really have much influence as, as some people might think. Like, for example, everybody bitched and complained about The Last of Us 2 when they found out about the links. There was a bunch of alt-right type videos saying don't buy the game, don't buy the game will be trash. And while I do agree to a certain extent that the story is trash, The Last of Us 2 still ended up selling like hotcakes because a vast majority of people don't really care about, if a game is quote unquote woke trash or not. If people really cared about how woke a game was, then games like Spider Man 2 wouldn't be selling 10 million plus copies. Like Spider Man 2 on a PS5 has outsold many of my favorite games ever. Like a lot of my favorite games include Final Fantasy 9, Nino Kuni, name a Yakuza game, you know. And something like The Last of Us 2 or Spider Man 2 managed to outsell a lot of my favorite games, and it kind of sucks, but that's just how it is. Like, I can respect people that like The Last of Us 2, and I can also respect people that don't like The Last of Us 2. The thing is, though, if I ever decide to do a proper video discussing The Last of Us 2, with editing and me, rambling less, I'll try not to put my opinion on such a high pedestal,